Welcome to the video that shows you how to obtain the normal non-proofed RC Goblin. What you see there is a tactical fall-off. It is used so the phone call rings later. Had I used this tactical fall-off, I could have easily reached the marker, but I waited for the phone call to come in so I can show you the full procedure. The next thing, or the first thing that is on your list is to get a permanent, or a timer that counts upwards, because if there's one that counts downwards, it is going to disappear. That's nothing that you want, because you need a pretty long time until you can actually obtain this vehicle. So what I just did there is I went into the marker the moment I got a call, and then I paused buffered so I would actually make sure that I get the call. I held the call because there's a chance that I won't get a tracking mission that tells me to be quickly. I need the to be quickly tracking mission so I get a timer. I saw that my energy hasn't disappeared yet, so I got into my tanker and started the mission again with a call. You can also just go to the bat and dance lowrider thing right away. You don't have to enter the cab. Well, you have to enter the cab and then get there, but you don't have to start the mission again. If you do it like I did, you will also enjoy the privilege of not having any traffic that you have to deal with, which is pretty neat. I'm holding a call because if I get a wanted level, or if I hold my call and release it like a little bit before I reach the guy that tells me where the meeting is, I can actually not get a phone call that would interrupt this guy's script, and thus would make him walk away and make it impossible for me to start the lowrider bat and dance right away. As you will see in a second, if you start the lowrider bat and dance thing, it will be duped, and if you kill the guy that tells you where to find the meeting, the cutscene will soft lock, but only until you have either killed one of the members there or destroyed one of their cars, which is pretty easy because they are duped and spawn inside of each other and thus destroy themselves. When you reach them, just reply positively. This will activate the script, and there will spawn 2 sets of lowriders. I killed him, so the cutscene soft locked, but fortunately for me I didn't have to kill anyone else as they exploded due to cars spawning inside each other. Now you have to get rid of all the wanted level that you have attained. You can either do so by entering brain spray or collecting a bribe. It's really up to you. We are getting rid of the wanted level because we want to set up another on mission 0 call. This one is necessary so we can start new Medell army with on mission 0 and also have a flight available. This is also the reason why this method doesn't work on mobile. If it does, nice. You have to show me this. But I don't think it does, because you have to hold a phone call. So, standard procedure. Walk into the marker when the phone call comes in, and then pause buffer. When you get the call, just hold the call with the button that accepts the call, then fail the mission. Unfortunately, I don't have any police cars with me, but this isn't a problem either, because we can just hold the call. Fortunately, I have chosen a good button for this, the right mouse button. This allows me to concentrate on other things, such as driving or walking and such. I store the energy in the garage because I might need it later. Not sure about it though. And I get a car because then I won't lose all of my ammunition, because as you've seen, I was shooting all the time due to me holding the call. I'm now making my way to San Fierro, but I will do this by going to the airport and then buying a plane ticket because it's faster. Also, please excuse my terrible driving. It's been a time since I did my last San Andreas save. Once you're back in San Fierro, you have to either get a cop car or bike, or the pimping car, pimpmobile. The former is easier to get, so just get a wanted level and by shooting a few pedestrians, then steal one. When you're wondering why the sound in the background has been cut, that is due to me having played music, and I don't want to re-record this, so let's deal with it. Since we have now gotten a police car, we can start Vigilante and then release the phone call. And now we have to get rid of our wanted level. Sometimes the wanted level is a little bit stubborn and you have to collect the wanted bribe that is on the train tracks. But fortunately for me, this isn't the case. So I just have to pick up 1 star and it disappears on its own. A quick disclaimer: if you fail at this part and you want to get Origin 0 again, don't use Blood Bowl, because the infinite timer will make it impossible to either pass it or fail it. And the only way to get out is to have your car explode. But this will also make CJ spawn back at the hospital. So what you want to do is you want to select Las Venturas, because this flight takes from 1440 until 1745, I think. And when the call rings, you will have to hold the phone call again, because you need to start New Medal Army with Origin 0. When the police timer approaches the 4-second mark, you have to buy the ticket. If you buy it later, say 2 seconds, then the game will crash. So don't do that. The fastest way to get to Zero's Model shop is by jumping until you reach the road and then you take a car. Don't jump into the water right away, because swimming is slow, and you kind of need every second that you can get. Okay, now that you have reached the marker, it gets tricky for a few seconds. You want to immediately skip the cutscene, but don't use space, because this will skip to the end of the flight, which you don't want, because then you have to reload. It's almost impossible to pull this off. You want to get a plank instead. This allows the Goblin to stay in position and not move around too much. You also can't use W to ascend, because this will also skip to the end of the flight, so you will have to rotate and then use A and D in order to move around. Once you reach this grassy area, you're pretty much safe. You can test if you're safe by holding the descent button and then moving forwards or tilting forwards and backwards. And now this is the tricky part. You can only press W when the descent button is being pressed. And all the other buttons are kind of forbidden buttons, so don't use them. What you are doing now is you walk west for 1 minute and 35 seconds until Seeley kind of becomes glitchy. This is the point when he has stopped because he's running into a corner. He can't continue walking. Once you have reached that part, you want to turn by 45 degrees, so you face south, and then you want to walk forwards for about 40 seconds until you see the camera. Once you see that camera, just head for that camera because it is a safe point from where you can continue. Alright, see ya when Seeley has arrived there. Alright, there's the pickup. It's this small black dot in the sky. When you've picked it up, you want to turn north and then walk forwards for about 3 seconds. Then you turn west and walk forwards for 37 seconds. After this, you will end up on the train tracks, where you turn north again and walk forwards for about a minute. I mess up at this point and stop walking too early, but since you have seen this video, you probably know better than me, and you won't do this garbage. Also, when you're annoyed by Zero saying, "Carl, I'm blocked. Move that barrel," you can simply mute him. I did the same. Unfortunately, the time is frozen, so you cannot use the clock there to calculate the time, but there's this trucking timer that you still have. After the end of this walk, you want to turn west again and then walk forwards until you hit the wall. This wall will be the wall surrounding the driving schoolyard. You want to turn the camera a little bit northwestern, so you will continue to walk into the wall, and once the wall ends, you will realize that, and then you can turn completely west and find the driving school marker. Also, if you need any help, you can use the loaded parts of the map, that is Dorothy and the train station, for your orientation. Alright, this is pathetic. See when Celia has finally managed to enter the driving school interior. Alright, there we go. Now you just want to walk to Torino's ranch and then start Verdant Meadows. I'm gonna skip half of the frames so you won't get too bored. Bye, I guess. I picked up the phone call to get rid of it because it continuously rang. Best way to do so is just to walk into water. Now you have to start Verdant Meadows again. Well, not again, but you have to start it. It will be duped, so that's 2 mission attempts and 2 mission passed. But this will not be an advantage for you because it skips NOE. But don't worry, the wrestler will be spawning in your hangar, no problem. What I did now is I set a marker for the safe house that I want the goblin to be at, and then I started walking. You can see on the minimap that I'm carefully directing the goblin to the safe house and also walking forwards with CJ at the same time. Since this is the goblin at an insane height, I have to press the descent button all the time, but that's no problem because I will probably only end up at the floor when I reach the safe house as well. But let's see. Again, you cannot press anything else than the descent button and W, because you might tilt the goblin too much, so it hits the ground. What you can use though that I forgot is the Q and E to rotate the goblin. But really, besides those buttons, that's it. If you want to sprint, then you can use W, but this will only take longer because then the goblin ascends again and then you have to cut it down again, which is kind of annoying. Alright, this is me finally getting to the goblin. As you can see, the plank is protecting it pretty well. I now have to fly it up to the garage and then simply close the garage while it is inside. Well, guess simply is the wrong word because it is kind of difficult and you can die if the rotor blades get too close to CJ. Also, it is pretty risky and you have to worry about blowing the goblin up because all of these safe or buildings. I actually have had a little problem here. I got the goblin into the garage, but I didn't notice, and I accidentally entered the safe house, and when I got out of the safe house again, I found out that I could use my weapons again and could change them, and then I went like pretty sad because that normally means that you have failed, but in this case it meant that the goblin has actually been stored, and of course I put it underneath the stretch that I've stored there. But this isn't a problem because I can just open the garage and close it a few times and then get out the stretch. I hope this video helps you obtain this vehicle. If it does, hey, good. You're welcome. Bye.